Hello, everyone. I know I finally made it back to my desk, which I'm so proud of myself for. I've been working this weekend, but I do these vlogs because I feel like I'm like a lot of artists where we have our sketchbooks out, we're making work for our clients, we're not finishing our coffee. And I had a lot of meeting notes this weekend, and I love that because, like, I feel like that's why a lot of people, we're creatives, we're artists, and art is something I enjoy, and it helps you get so many thoughts of ideas, which, by the way, Five Below, so many good journals that are solid. And I do like that they're hard bound on the outside because I'm just writing, sketching ideas. And I sat down and I had three main ones from this weekend because I was helping out two separate people, one with nonprofit work and another one with a small business that's opening, which I'm totally going to be posting images as soon as we're done editing video. So follow the page and tune in for that. But I was thinking about what more can I offer? While I'm making a mural, I'm just like, I'm always constantly like, someone's gonna take pictures of this. Does it look good from angles? It's sat in different chairs looking at it. And this past weekend, I was like listening to and having some thoughts and reflections about gatekeeping. And I came up a few times, I was even listening to a few podcasts bring it up because especially in the art world, it seems to be a thing where people think that by not sharing how they're doing something or not sharing what their actual products are, their services or their websites being very vague, that they're keeping the competition down. And I completely disagree. I think one, think about the customers. I know for a fact that most of my customers refer to me or go from my website and they read the stories about the people I have connections with. And that's why they're like, you're the person I need for this job because I've seen what else you've done. And I want that for my business or my nonprofit or my school. I want someone to storytell in that direct way. And so they wouldn't call someone else. So I get a lot of people where I'm like, I get like, I brag about my clients. So I don't know if my client list is secret. I feel like someone who's a good study or a quick study could go through my Instagram and see who I've worked with, the cities and things like that. Again, I don't think it helps them out though, or makes them competition for knowing that. I think I was listening to like a really good episode on Saturday, or maybe Sunday. I was finishing up the episode, and they made a good point about the fact that you can totally lead a horse to water and they can drink, but what they do afterwards, will they go back to the same source? You can keep showing them, hey, this is the good water. You should be drinking over here. But are they going to keep coming to you to keep showing them over and over again, or take the lead and just drink the water themselves and lead themselves over there if they need to? And long story short, it's just that you can give someone information. That doesn't mean they're going to act on it. I mean, I could definitely tell someone all about, their curious questions, which I love answering. Educating is part of why I'm in the art world. So I feel like I get an opportunity to share about the artists that I love through art history. I get to share why I got in the field, what inspired me and my community, and how my work is building the future artists. And I love people asking about why I love certain products over others and why I think this is more durable and better in the long stream of things, or that this will save you money if you do it this way, and then I can help, make this longevity out of it. And you can use this for your social media. I love chatting about possibilities. I don't think I've met many artists that are always so chit-chatty and forthcoming like that. And it might be because I know it's so important for sales and for my brand, for me to be vocal, to be clear and educate and be like, I am your source for like, we can get this done. This is how this project's going to go. This is the process normally that our clients go through. And I love being a face of my business and being able to do that. I definitely don't like some of the behind the scenes stuff with the desk work and organizing and the accounting part. I love the art part though. But I was thinking about that because it really doesn't do any for your competition. If somebody else is super passionate about it, loves learning new things, taking workshops, traveling, meeting new people, staying up to date with their connections, touch base, and doing things like that in their field as well, they're going to be successful. I just don't think that's the majority of people that enter the field, or I would be bumping into like a lot of people doing what I'm doing. I actually meet a lot of people who fall out of what I'm doing because they're not thinking like I was this weekend about like what's next, what else can I do for my clients, what's relevant. And I was listening to an episode about a girl, she does social media work, which I don't do anymore, but her points were still valid for my field. So I'll share it with you. She pretty much said that She was still doing things that were relevant 3 years ago on her YouTube channel, and she realized the problem was she had hundreds of thousands of followers, but was still using a system that's outdated, and her viewer levels on all of her videos, like, went downhill because she hadn't been doing things that are relevant now. And the most important thing that creators will tell you is we're fulfilling needs. Like, most everything on my page is telling us solving problems, helping old buildings get revitalized, helping businesses get their voice out there, making sure they have a wall that they can take videos in front of, product photos in front of. We're solving problems together with a lot of our clients, kind of like social media people who are helping people who don't know what's going on with their marketing and getting in on the digital side of their business and getting someone to look in there and see what they can do better. That being said, I definitely agree with you. Collaboration is way more important than worrying about your competition. You will miss something. You need to be more concerned about learning, getting in with new circles, showing up at meetings, and building connections. And I feel like that energy attracts opportunities as well, at least in my business, especially since I am the voice of it. I have a lot of control and say over my creative visions. I turn work down that doesn't really it doesn't align with what I'm interested in and what I do, and I know I'm not a good fit. So you're always curtailing your portfolio, which is something you learn, like, in high school and in college and everything else. So I get a lot of students who are like, "How did you get these opportunities?" I said, "That's what I put my energy into, though. I focus on what do they want? What kind of clients do I want? And what needs do they need from me as their creative director of what can I offer? What services?" And that's where your business really blows up and expands. And that's not to say every art creative business, but I feel like most people who wanna make a living doing it are interested in multi-stream incomes, which means you have multiple products and services that you have to offer. So you're a one-stop, so that way your clients are coming back to you for multiple reasons, not one reason, which is why a lot of people hit a wall. They rely on something that might be thriving in some seasons, but then they don't have something for the other months in between, which is super important, staying flexible. That being said too, I feel like with branding, everyone can be an artist, but no one can be you, was probably the best advice I ever got, and it was true. All of my clients will, like, probably or the reason why I know it to be true because they tell me why they hire me. They know I'm always curious to hear why. How'd you find me? What interested you about my work? And I realized that was really what set the edge was that I wasn't fulfilling a need for everyone, that my work was answering the call for those who resonated with it, thought that I could help them with their work. And I love the fact that I have a unique voice because of where I grew up at, and especially with a lack of art, and there was a plenty of blank canvases to make your mark and really show people what you're about. I definitely think though that I didn't have all the skills I needed, which is why I think who's around you matters more in collaborating because there's tons of things I can thank friends for that they opened my eyes to, saw on my website, pointed out in my work that I didn't see. And it helped me be more versatile and see it from other people's angles, which is really important for your work. It's good to be like true to your own voice, but it's also important to be able to listen and communicate and collaborate on a project so that way there's bits of you in your work, but that you're also representing your clients really well too. And then they will continue to want to work with you and refer you to their connections as well. That being said, I feel like I was just reflecting during this mural about, it painting sparks such deep thoughts when you're making it, and it just always is, like, leading you to the next thing of, like, "Wow, I really like how we got to do this. I may try this with the next client," or, "Maybe I don't wanna do this anymore, I maybe offer this, like, immediately," and I feel like that's where the growth and also where why art's so meaningful to me because it does so much at the same time. And one thing that was really great is that when you're an artist who paints on site, and I'm not just like printing things and drawing, they are watching you to get to see. They want to record video. They want you to talk to their customers if they have some or office mates, and it's really interactive and it's memory making. And I really enjoy that aspect of it too, because it teaches that it's more than just for function, but also building connections with other people and getting to really share and educate why art matters so much. Which I'm honored to be able to do that, and especially since that would benefit other artists. So, gatekeeping, especially if you're in an area where arts really was stagnant about 10 years ago because there was only like acceptable, like you had to be painting mountains, it had to be realistic, it only impressionism, you had to be copycatting the greats, which that's not what made them great. They were innovative, they did something different. An entire period of art is named after some of these artists that they're copying. And I'm like, you can't be like that if you're only learning that far about their style where you didn't push it. And I feel like that's what's really important. Like, I always tell my students why I'm always telling them to try different works because they'll take bits and pieces from every project and then finding their voice, finding their style along the way. That was just reflections from this weekend, though. So I'm pretty excited because I'm over here. I'm going to get back to video editing, of course, for my current clients. And I did get to work on a female portrait, my favorite. So I was super excited. So I'm going to go photo dump and go into like my editing software and get it done. And I'm so glad that I worked with so many people with templates. Grateful, so grateful. I have been using them. So I'm super stoked to show you that work and finish my cup of coffee. But yeah, give me your thoughts on that though. What do you think about like artists you think you need to gatekeep skills? Because I'm one of those people, I will like research something way before hiring someone just to get an idea about it. So I feel like you find a plethora of information online. There's lots of workshops, online courses. I mean, these days it's like education is like a literally a click of a button away. And you don't even have to like go to college to learn like college courses. You can take a college course in something you really want to learn. So I feel as if, it's going to be a debate because some people are very competitive. So maybe that doesn't benefit them, or maybe they're in an area where there's a lot more artists, or maybe a lot of artists doing the same thing. So we're open to different opinions on this topic. So what is it? Competition or collaboration? Which one wins? I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.